Shishka, thank you for joining. So you did the program for your son, Krish, right?
Yes.
And he was 8 years old when he joined the program?
Yes, he was.
And what was he like before doing the program? What was he like with his sleep? What was he like with his awareness, his understanding of language? What was all that like with potty training?
Yeah. So Krish at that time, we had started toilet training, but we hadn't made much progress. So he was still using pull-ups at night time, sometimes throughout the day as well. He didn't have any understanding, or I've got the feeling of going toilet, I need to use the toilet. That wasn't there yet. We were just taking him at set times regularly every 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes he would use the toilet, sometimes he wouldn't. And he was frequently having accidents. With his, again, with the toileting, he was suffering from really bad diarrhea. I would say it was almost like on a weekly basis where he would get really severe diarrhea. He would be pooing a lot, and his stools would be that soft and smelly as well. So he was having a lot of issues with his stomach. I did think maybe he's reacting, he's got, to a certain ingredient. We tried to eliminate some of those, but didn't really make a difference. We wasn't sure why it was happening. With his understanding, Krish had some understanding, but not much. He wasn't able to follow full instructions. The only one he was able to follow before the program was pick it up. So he would pick something up and he would, to him, he would put it in the bin, and that was it. So that was that. Sleeping was a really big issue for us. He wasn't sleeping well at all. He would fall asleep absolutely fine. He wasn't able to stay asleep though. He used to get up in the middle of the night, stay awake for a number of hours, wake up in the morning and be really tired, or then go back to sleep at like 6-7 o'clock in the morning because he's been up all through the night. So sleeping was really difficult as well.
Okay, so starting right from the beginning, Krish was like almost like perfectly fine. Then at 13 months old, he had a regression, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So Krish, touch wood, his birth was normal, absolutely was fine. He hit all his milestones. We celebrated his first birthday, and then at 14 months, we saw a regression. That's when other people were noticing, oh, he's not talking anymore. He said his first words. He used to say "mum," "papa" to his granddad. He used to point his finger. He used to do nursery rhymes, happy and clap your hands. He used to do all of it. He used to play with his brother. He used to tell us no and stuff. And then all of a sudden things were just stopping. His speech went. He's now not responding to his name. He's not reacting to lights, not reacting to sounds anymore. Nursery rhymes stopped. So yeah, we saw everything just slowly stop. Yeah.
And that it was basically like that from about 1 year old up until 8 years old.
Absolutely, yeah.
I remember before he joined the program, from about 1 year old to 8 years old, but like he wasn't really getting much support or answers from the NHS.
Yes, absolutely. So there wasn't much support out there. No one was coming to review him, even though we had an EHCP, and on there it said he's going to get this much speech and language, he's going to get this much occupational therapy, but no one was actually coming to do that. From the time he had his assessment done for occupational therapy, it took another 1.5 years before anything even happened. And that was me chasing them to say, you still haven't seen my son. You've told me that you gave me the report 6 months later telling me, yep, he definitely needs occupational therapy and this is what we're going to put in place. But another year went past and no one had come to see him at all. So yeah, it's been a big struggle and a big fight. Yeah.
But so for years and years, you kind of like most moms I work with, they really want to help their child. They really want to see their child get better. And they spend literally years in tribunals and fighting for EHCP, like fighting for the local authority for that EHCP. And you eventually did get it, but it still wasn't even honoured. It's told you like a legal document, and it said he needed to get this much amount of therapy. And years later, he still hadn't gotten any of that, even though you kept chasing him.
That's it, absolutely. And that's what I found, that unfortunately here without NHS, yeah, they are so stretched and everything, but it's really unfortunate. But it's the people who sort of fight and scream the loudest are the ones who then get the help. Sitting back and having your child waiting on a waiting list, no one's going to come and see you. No one's going to help you. You have to keep chasing up. You have to keep calling. You have to send all those emails out, and you have to keep saying, I want this for my child. And like you said, you've even said it to me. Yes, he needs occupational therapy. He needs speech and language therapy. And as you mentioned, it's a legal document that you should be abiding to. And yet that wasn't happening. Krish, like I said, it was at 14 months where all the signs were there, and he didn't get his one-to-one support until he was in the last term of reception. So he went all through nursery without the one-to-one support, most of his reception year as well without the support. And what me and my husband did, we were fortunate enough that we were able to privately pay for speech and language therapy and privately pay for occupational therapy. At the end of the day, it's our son, and we want to do whatever we can that we're able to help him.
Okay, so it's like, again, a lot of parents I work with, they will have opted for these therapies, and like you said, even though you paid for private speech and language therapy and private occupational therapy for years, he was still in the same position, problem sleeping, no real understanding of language at all. And like with the potty training, before you started, I remember, because he was 8 when he started, and you said we've been potty training him for 3 years. And you said and for the last year, he was quite common for him to even be in some like wearing jeans and still like be wet, and he wouldn't even realize he's wet.
Yes, so that was definitely how Krish was. If he had soiled himself or wet himself, he was happy to carry on with whatever he was doing. He didn't have any awareness that, oh God, I'm dirty, I'm wet, it's uncomfortable. No, he would just carry on. And then because of, obviously, with the diarrhea as well, and when he was still in sort of those dirty clothes and stuff, he was then prone to like a lot of rashes as well. And that would then obviously irritate him, and he'd get really uncomfortable with it as well. But again, it's because he didn't have the understanding that, oh, I'm dirty, I'm soiled, I'm wet, you know, I need to get out of these clothes. It just wasn't there.
And then you like randomly saw me on Harjat Bengal show, right, on TV?
That's right. Yeah. So it was actually one of my work colleagues who had seen your show, and bless her heart, she really kindly, she works with my mother-in-law, actually. I'm at the school as well. And what she did, she sent the video to my mother-in-law, and she's like, please tell Shiksha to watch this for Krish. And me and my husband, we sat and we watched your video, and we loved it. The reason why we loved it is firstly, because of your personal experience. You know, like I said, I've seen many videos out there, many suggestions, and it's from people who haven't experienced what we have experienced or what we experienced. They don't have autistic children. You know, it's easy for someone to read a book and say, oh, this book suggests this, you know, that you should do this. But when you haven't been there and you haven't been in our shoes, I just don't feel like it might not work. But we love the fact that you were so personal about your own story as well. Secondly, we did love the fact that you were based on science as well. Everything that you were talking about, there was research to back up what you were saying. It's not something that, you know, you've seen on TikTok or Instagram, and, you know, there's not actual evidence to back up what you are suggesting. So those were the 2 big things that we were like, yes, we want to give this a go.
Did anyone, like, because it happened to me with the regression, did anyone just kind of make you feel a bit gaslit that your son could never have possibly been as normal as you said he was before 14 months?
I'm in a way, because at that time I wasn't working and stuff. I was at home with Krish. Luckily, I've got videos of him doing these things. And when I show my work colleagues, they are absolutely gobsmacked that, he was able to do nursery rhymes and he was able to do this. And I remember one of his LSAs, bless her heart, she was very good with Krish, very caring, very loving. And when I showed her the video, she actually started crying. And she's like, I cannot believe that, you know, Krish was doing all these things. And obviously she's seen him as not doing all these things. And I remember she actually started crying. She was like, I can't believe it that he was able to do it. So again, I count myself as blessed as well that I was able to capture those moments of him, you know, laughing and smiling and doing nursery rhymes and telling us no, and saying papa to his granddad and stuff. So I was quite lucky in a sense that I did have that. But I do get that sense that when I do say to people, no, Krish was able to do everything. I bet inside they probably are thinking, did he? You know, but luckily, like I said, I have got, you know, proof. And it is when I show them the videos and they're like, oh, wow, he could actually do all these things.
You know, the parents I work with, where their child had a regression at like 1 year old, 2 years old, or 3 years old, they cling to these videos because it just shows you that your child was kind of was normal. He was talking, he was sleeping, he was interactive, he was engaging, he had eye contact, he was playing before they became completely in their own world and house off. We as parents, people, I felt like it quite a lot actually, where people were just telling me, it just kind of felt like you must have been exaggerating.
He
couldn't have been like that, like you're saying, because I can see him now and he's nothing like that. So what your story doesn't really sound to me. When I work with parents, I tell them, if your child had a regression, it clearly shows you that their cause of their autism symptoms is environmental. So if it's environmental, you can change their environment and it will come back.
No, absolutely. I 100% believe that.
And before doing the program, you had tried homeopathy, private speech and language therapy, private occupational therapy, and obviously the NHS. But did anyone tell you the link between your son's weekly diarrhea and his current autism symptoms?
Absolutely no one had suggested that at all. I hadn't come across anything about, you know, that the gut could have a link with his autism.
So now what kind of things did we do together, and how quickly did you see progress in your son once we started working together?
So I remember right from the beginning, you know, you set us some key targets, things like, you know, eating better. So that meant taking out all the highly processed foods, you know, that needs to go. And I'll admit, I'll put my hands up. Yeah, Chris used to like nuggets and, you know, chicken dippers and all those frozen foods and stuff. You know, when we're buying meat, make sure it's fresh from the butchers, you know, or organic. So all our fruit and vegetable was organic, our oils, any products that we were buying, we were making sure it's organic. It was all about changing our diet, but for the good.
So did that stop his diarrhea?
We definitely seen a massive change in his diarrhea to this day, even though we have, you know, finished your program. I say finished as in we don't have the sessions anymore, but we still follow your program every day.
And what's his understanding like now then, or understanding of language?
So with his understanding and his communication, it's been absolutely wonderful to see the difference ourselves. But what's even more amazing is the feedback we're getting from everyone else. So from family members, our mother and father-in-law, they can see the difference. Where a lot of the time we would use hand gestures, Krish, can you pass me that? Krish, come down. Now he's able to follow instructions with just listening to our words. So the understanding has gone all the way up here. We can now just say, Krish, come down. And because he's heard the words come down, he will come down. Just literally yesterday, I was walking up the stairs with Krish. I was behind him, so he can't see me. And I said, Krish, let's go toilet. He took himself straight to the toilet. I didn't have to gesture him with, you know, the toilet's there. We're going to the toilet. He couldn't even see my face, but he heard me. He was in front of me going up the stairs. He heard me say, Krish, go toilet. He took himself to the toilet. Another example, my mother and father-in-law said, Krish, can you pass my phone? And their phone was on the charger on the other side of the room. He went, took the phone off charge and handed it to them. So this is people that we're living with. We are even getting feedback from people outside of the house. So his LSA at school has definitely told us how much of a difference she has seen. You know, again, with his communication, with his attention, with his concentration. So just a few weeks back, he sat down for half an hour, uninterrupted, and he followed so therapist came into school. He followed every single task that the therapist asked him to do. And he did that for 30 minutes. This was the child that before your program sat for 2 minutes and that was it. He was up and he was gone, not just at home, but at school as well. If I showed you ILPs at school, his target was to sit between 5 and 10 minutes to do an activity. And here we are, he was able to sit for 30 minutes to do these activities. His concentration was there, his attention was there, and he was following through with the task that he was being told to do. So like I said, it's not just me saying it, yeah, he's doing everything, his understanding's got better, he's listening to us, he's listening to people that we're living with. No, other people from outside are noticing it. And that's what truly shows us that, yeah, it works. Like I said, sometimes things happen and you think, is it just me? Is it just me saying that, yeah, he is listening more, he is doing more? But when you see other people saying it to you, then you think, no, it's not just me. You know, other people are actually noticing it as well.
I remember you saying that he understood the word automatically, and you were like, what?
There's been a few occasions where, you know, we've said a word and he's done it and he's listened. It's like when I recently had his EHCP review in December, and obviously that's done on a yearly basis. And when we spoke about the things Krish could do in the previous December to what he was able to do now, you know, everyone was like, yeah, we've seen it. His teacher was present, his one-to-one was present, and I was present. And it was just amazing to see the difference in that year. Now, obviously, the year before we hadn't done your program, we hadn't made these changes. But in December, yeah, we had completed your program by then. So it was so good to have that comparison of where he was there and what he was doing now.
And what's his sleep like now?
Sleep so much better. So much better. You know, where we were having those regular disruptive nights, and it was really difficult to manage as well. You know, he was getting tired. As parents, we were getting tired as well. But now he's able to sleep in his own bed, because even this was a challenge for us. Chris used to love sleeping in our bed, or he would fall asleep in his bed, and in the middle of the night, oh my God, he's realized he's now coming into our bed. But no, that has reduced significantly. So much it's reduced. He's happy to sleep in his own bed, and it's like he's, again, like we mentioned with the understanding, he knows now I'm sleeping in my bed. When we go upstairs and we start our bedtime routine, he doesn't go into our bedroom at all anymore. He knows, no, I'm sleeping in my bed. This is where I sleep. Whereas before, he would take himself automatically into our bedroom because in his mind, yeah, I sleep here. This is where I'm comfortable. This is where I end up in the night. I'm sleeping here. But no, now he's following his routines much better. He goes straight to his bedroom. He's even able to do it without direction. When he is tired, he will take himself upstairs. He will put himself in the bed. He will put the covers on him. He'll tell his brother about the TV. He'll push his hand towards it that, you know, I'm tired. Can you please like kind of turn the TV off or the light or something? So yeah, sleep has improved so much, so much.
That's amazing. One of the favorite things about so we started working together in June, and one of the favorite parts I had when I was working with you was when you sent me the most lovely photos of Krish at his older brother's birthday party.
Yeah.
And where before he was always kind of like by himself, he didn't really have he didn't know what a birthday was.
No.
He was kind of always in his own world and unhappy in his own world.
This is it. Each time we had a celebration, like especially with birthdays, we used to call around family. Now, family being just another 4 members. It's my husband's younger brother, his wife, and their 2 little children. And that was it. Krish would never want to stand and take pictures. Krish didn't want to see the cake cutting. He didn't like the candles. And like I said, just by having a few extra members of the family, no, he didn't even want to sit in the same room as us. And when I showed you those pictures, you can, he is smiling, he is there, he's present in front of the cake with his brother. He's got his arm around his brother and he's taking a picture.
So nice. So like this program's had such a giant impact on the entire family.
Absolutely. It hasn't just impacted us as directly as parents, but the people that we're living with, the people that are in our daily lives, such as my brother-in-law, their kids, their family, even the extended people that we don't get to see, you know, on a daily basis, the people that we see every few months, even they are noticing. And it's just brought so much joy to everyone as well. I think until you've personally experienced autism, you truly understand it.
What big moment did you have today?
So earlier today, Krish took himself to the toilet. Well, I'll start from the beginning. So I was walking up the stairs and I saw Krish sitting on the toilet by himself. So I asked my eldest son, oh, Harai, did you put Krish on the toilet? Because I have to say my eldest son is, again, very supportive, helps his brother out. And he's like, no, Mum, I didn't. I don't even know where Krish is. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I've assumed Krish has put himself on the toilet. And again, this is something we have seen just in the last maybe two to 3 weeks. Just in the last 2 weeks, Krish has been taking himself to the toilet for number one, for when he needs a wee. It's not happening every day and not happening all the time, but we have noticed this is something that has been happening in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So I've gone in the toilet. Oh, well done, Krish. You know, do our little celebration that we do. I've helped him to clean himself. But then I've noticed in the toilet, there's a number 2. And again, I still put that little doubt. And I'm like, did Krish do that number 2? Maybe someone did it beforehand and hasn't flushed the toilet. I don't know. But I then helped Krish to wipe his bottom. And yes, Krish had done a number 2 in the toilet. This is the first time in he's going to turn 9 in April. So in his whole almost 9 years, first time ever that Krish has now not only just done and taking himself, this has to be the key part. It's not me telling him to go to the toilet. It's no one putting him on the toilet. No, he has now acknowledged the fact that his body needed to go to the toilet and not just a number 1, a number 2, and he's taken himself and he's done it in the toilet. Honestly, the first thing I did was call my husband because he's at work. Called my husband. Oh my God, guess what Krish just done? And he was absolutely amazed. I called my mother-in-law upstairs. Guess what Krish has done? And even she was so happy. And she was actually on the phone to my sister-in-law. I told my sister-in-law on the phone what happened. And she's actually told me that she's going to call me back because she wants the full details. She wants to know everything. But yeah, absolutely amazing. This is a huge progression. This is life-changing for us. You know, children are usually potty trained at the age of 1, 2, 3. They're usually out of it. You know, our son is at 8, almost hitting 9 years old. With our main targets, I don't know if you remember it at the beginning, there was 2 things, toileting and the speech. And, you know, like I said, we started this program not even a year. It hasn't even been a year.
It's 8 months. 8 months.
And the fact that we've gone from that to him using the toilet on his own within 8 months. And I'm pretty sure other parents who are in our position will understand. That's amazing. You know, we've been trying to potty train Krish for years, and it's been years that we've been trying to get him to use the toilet. But going from him completely not using the toilet, soiling himself, wetting himself, not even understanding, oh, I'm wet, I'm soiled, I'm thinking, realizing it. No, he's gone from that to now acknowledging the fact that, oh, I've got a sensation here. I need the wee, I need a number 2. I'm just going to take myself. Is just honestly, absolutely amazing. I was saying to all my family that I've spoken to today, that I've been telling them, it's better than winning the lottery. I can't even put a price tag on it. These are life-changing moments.
I can, honestly, I can feel your happiness through the screen.
Yeah.
So Shishka, you're a primary school teacher. You're a parent of an autistic child. You've been researching autism for years and years and years. The things that we did together to help Krish on the program, and the techniques and the therapies and everything put all together, had you really heard of any of them before joining the program?
So like I mentioned, and like you said, yeah, as an autism parent, you're constantly trying to research for the new things, what the latest things are, what's out there, how can we help our child. But there was nothing really much that had been put out there. The only thing I'd heard about going gluten-free, that there could be a link between gluten and autism. I had heard that one before, but again, we tried it, didn't see any difference at all. So we stopped that. But yeah, apart from that, I hadn't come across much of what you had told us.
So how much did you learn through the program?
Oh my God, I have learned so much. And I've told other parents about it as well, because, and again, I loved the way you did your program. Was it's not a program of just 6 months. This is a program for life. These are tools, and you use that word tools, that we can use for the rest of our life. As I said, sometimes you get a bit nervous. I was nervous. I put my hands up to it, trying new things. Oh my God, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? As a parent as well, as you mentioned, I work full time. I'm a primary school teacher. How am I going to, balance doing everything that we're doing already, and now also making these extra changes and stuff? Believe you me, it is all doable. You didn't throw any big targets at us. Oh, all of a sudden you've got to do this and do that. It's nothing that's not manageable. And this is coming from a parent who works full time, who has another child as well. I don't just have Krish. I have another child as well. He's in secondary. I have to sit and do homework with him. I also live, as you mentioned, with extended family as well. I have a mother-in-law, father-in-law. I have my duties there as well. I'm a wife as well. It's something that you can do and you can manage. You've made it manageable. The way your program is set out, weekly, 2 weekly sessions, and then you introduce a new idea. It gives you a chance to adapt to that change that you suggested in that week, see how it goes, and then you bring in a new idea. It's not overwhelming. You don't just say, here you go, here's everything, go out and do it. No, you do it slowly, you do it in small chunks, and it's manageable as well.
It's good. I remember before, right at the beginning of the call, you said, Deba, I see you always saw videos of parents saying, I've got the success story, I've got the success story, and you're always really skeptical.
I feel awful, but that's how I was. I was a skeptical person. I saw many videos online for different therapies, like stem cell therapy, and people saying, yeah, it works, and we did it with my child, and stuff like that, and hearing other people's success stories. And I cannot believe, and it puts the biggest smile on my face, that I'm sitting here today. I feel absolutely blessed that I'm able to sit here and share my success story with my son.
Yeah, I'm also so happy that you're able to do that as well. Also, how did you find working with me? And because it was a remote program, you're on the group program, what did that actually mean?
Yeah, so again, I don't know if you remember, but we initially wanted the one-to-one sessions, and that's what my husband wanted. And I remember you saying, like, oh, why? And don't worry, like, the group sessions are just as good as well. I'm like, okay, we didn't want to waste any time. We were really eager to start your program. Yeah. So we did do the group sessions, and actually it was amazing. With these group sessions, what it also does, it opens you up to other parents who are in similar positions to you. We created our very own group with yourself, Tiber, in there. We would share suggestions or little, success stories. Like, oh, guys, I tried this. It worked really well. If any of us had a question, we would put it in the group chat. Has anyone tried this before? I'm about to do the detox. Is there anything, for the parents who have tried it, what could you suggest as well? And it was absolutely amazing working with you. We didn't just get to see you once every 2 weeks over a screen. No, you were there to hand, I feel like, all day, every day. Sometimes we would message you, really late at night, really early in the morning with a question, and you'd always respond to us, within the same day. Whether we had a query, whether we had an issue, whether we noticed a difference, like, oh, actually, Tiber, we've recently started this, but we've seen this change. And you would give us straight away the advice, okay, what you're going to do, you're now going to make this change. So you were always there and always available for us. It didn't feel like, we had to sit and wait for the 2-week sessions. What was also wonderful about yourself is you would check in with us. People do get busy. We did get busy, and we probably didn't check in enough. But then you always used to message us, guys, I haven't heard from you for a while. How's it going? And that really shows that you care. It's not a program where, yeah, I've got your money, I'm going to do the program, get on with it, and I'm going to leave you to it. No, you used to check in on us and be like, how's it going? How is Chris and stuff? So again, it's really personal, and it shows that you're such a wonderful and caring person. You actually care about, you know, the people you're working with and the children that you're helping, which is really nice as well.
Do you think you would have got this, because you read my book as well, right?
Yes, you did. You gave us the book.
Do you think you would have got this result for Krish in, like, you know, 6 to 8 months that you've been doing everything, if you had just read the book and you hadn't joined the program?
I'll be honest with you. Your book was wonderful. It was great. It was really informative. But seeing you face to face and actually doing those sessions, it's a lot more sort of like detailed, and it's a lot more, your questions will be answered. You might read something and be like, okay, I'm reading it, but I'm not actually quite understanding this bit. Yeah. Whereas the way you explain things to us, because there is a lot of like scientific research about it and stuff, but the way you explained it to everybody was in a way that, yeah, everyone can understand, understand the language and understand the research as well. You put it in a term for even people like me to understand it. I know Krish is growing with age, but I always used to get a bit nervous as well, thinking the more he grows up, the more he's going to be set in his ways. You know, I'm a primary school teacher. I know the younger the mind is, the more they're able to absorb, the more they're able to learn. And I always used to think, you know, each and every year as Krish was getting older, I used to get more and more nervous. He's still not doing this. He's still not doing that. Another year's gone. He's still not doing this. In my mind, it was like a time thing. You know, the older he gets, the harder it's going to be for him to change his ways. It's going to be harder for us to try and teach him new things and stuff like that. So, and I do feel maybe we were a bit late. He is 8 years old, but do you know what? It is never too late. It's never too late as well. I can put my hand on my heart and guarantee that we would not have seen any of these changes without doing your program. Absolutely not. We would have carried on doing what we were doing, and the progression wouldn't have been nowhere near what we have seen. And in that amount of time, absolutely no, not without your program.
All right, thank you so much, Shiksha, and I'm so happy for Krish, and I just know he's going to keep improving as he keeps moving.
No, thank you. It's all thanks to you. That's why when I wanted to do this video, because if there's any way by anyone listening to my story or our story, and it would help like them to do your program, please do it, because it is life-changing, absolutely life-changing, and it works. And that's coming from someone who didn't quite believe in things and who was very skeptical. But I promise you, it absolutely works. It really does.